Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, my peeps. Hello, my loves. Hello, family, friends. I love you guys. I love you. I love you. I love you. And so I am glad that you guys are listening. And I will not be long. Actually just finished a whole nother video, but I thought about something and I wanted to come back and kind of, I think this video particularly is going to really be helpful to a lot of people. First, I want to also extend the invitation for you guys. If you are new to my channel, please go ahead and like this video. You're more than welcome to subscribe and or share. I really appreciate you guys. And so let's go ahead and jump right into it. So as you guys may already be able to tell, the title is Emotionless Women and Men. And then I put Unnatural. I want to talk about this because I think that this definitely is a subject that needs to be talked about. And there are a few points that I'm going to talk about, with one being emotionless women or men or just people in general. Also, two being how society has kind of pushed the narrative of being hard. Number three is kind of going more in depth about emotionless people, more particularly women. Um, and then number five is talking about how it is unnatural and how that we need to, um, we need to welcome our feelings as women. We need to welcome that in there. So let's go ahead and jump right into it, guys. So first of all, I want to make this statement. I really wish, and I see women kind of disown their emotions, in a sense, but I see also men who, and not all, but some who sometimes make fun of women who tap into their emotions. And so that's a problem because my thing is with how society is pushing things. Society basically tell women, a lot of women, that being hard, taking on the same things that men take on is the way to go. Being your own protector, watching your own ass, and being they I feel like society pushes this whole notion that women have to be just as hard as men or just as tough as men, or and that we should make our allow our emotions that we naturally carry as women. We should allow those things to die out. We should suffocate that. And I'm here to speak against that. That is not true. Of course, you don't want to be overly emotional. There's a balance to everything, people. There's a balance to every single thing on earth. There is a balance. Okay. That's the way that God made things. That's just how things are. You got a man and you have a woman. That's balance. You have a gravity, which means, if you throw something up, it comes down. That's balance. Um, you have water and then you have land. That's balance. Even though most of the world is covered in water, most of the world is covered in water, but even still, it still creates somewhat of a balance. I mean, I can go on and on and on. Negative, you have a negative and you have a positive. That creates a balance. So I can go on and on and on about balance and about, how things have balance. So I hope you guys kind of um get what I'm saying. But with everything comes balance. And so just like ladies, we have emotions. Naturally, we have emotions. There's a reason why we were created in such. And there's also a reason why guys may not be as emotional as we are as women. There's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. I think, one of when I think logically about this, I kind of think in the sense of, when with men, men may not be as emotional as women, and I'm thinking about this from a logical standpoint. So please, this is not, no, I haven't read any research or anything like that, but just in my brain, when I try to break it down, men, they go out and they hunt the food. They're stronger. The majority of men happen to be physically stronger than women. Men, in history, they went to wars, and thousands of men, died, and men have to go out into the world, and they have to, if they're going to eat, they got to kill what they're going to eat. They got to bring it back home, so on and so forth. So, there's a reason why, a certain men are created with a certain amount of emotions, because, you can't be out here afraid to kill something, but you got to eat, especially if you're in a life or death situation. And so there's a reason why men and women are different in that area. And women, we some of us, and I see it all the time, you got a lot of women that try to prove that, oh, I can be like a dude. I don't have emotions. F this and F that, and they become emotionless. And there's a lot of different factors that may play into why someone, particularly a woman, especially if it's a young woman, why she has gotten to the point in her life why she's just emotionally drained. She's emotionless. There are no emotions. She has no, I mean, she has a few that she can muster up, but she more so lives in hurt, pain, denial, things like that, which are not all necessarily positive emotions. And so, but we really got to really pay attention to the narrative that society pushes. And sometimes when we use things to, like, for example, you may see people say, oh, well, you just full of emotions, or, you're just emotional. And, and when you say that to a woman, she takes that, some women, not me. I own mine. I love being a woman. I love feeling what I feel, but having that balance and understanding that, it's okay to feel this. And, a lot of this has to do um, with my experience with counseling and counseling and things like that. You know, um, encouraging people to feel, right? So sometimes you see where, oh, you're just an you're an emotional wreck. You're, you let your emotions run you. And sometimes you see where women will take offense to that. And again, there's a balance to everything. So if you out here, illogical, you're not doing things, or your behavior um is not sane or logical, then yes, your emotions may be doing more harm than they are good. And so that could be a problem. That could be a problem with the balance. But if you are angry or upset about something, and maybe you snap, or maybe you mad, or whatever the case may be, right? Snapping as in maybe you may snap with your words, but then you catch yourself and you will it in. We all go through that. And both men and women, that's just part of being human, right? We all go through those things, and it's okay, as long as, of course, again, there's balance. You can't be just snapping off and popping off at work, or things like that that could have some um really bad results that may come out of that. So again, it all has to do with being making sure that there's a balance. But what we tend to see is that women try to prove how hard they are, or how much, how they don't have those emotions, and they become emotionless. And it's unnatural. It's unnatural for a woman to not be able to feel anything. It's unnatural for anybody, any human, period, whether you're a woman or man. But I'm speaking more specifically for women, because I see in society there's a turn, and some people are feeling like they are being shamed to feel what they feel, to have emotions about certain things. Don't be ashamed about that. That is natural. God gave us that naturally. There's a reason why many of us are naturally nurturers and nurturing and loving and kind and sweet and good-hearted. There's a reason for that. That wasn't just something that's a coincidence. There's a reason for that. Own that. Own that. So I want to talk about how, when we are become emotionless, we suppress our emotions, or we become extremely guarded. What we tend to do is put up these brick walls with like barbed wire everywhere, and we tend to not allow people in, or not allow ourselves to feel, not allow ourselves to go through whatever process that we need to go through to feel what we feel, to really, really, not necessarily embrace what we feel, but just allow it to play itself out. Sometimes, and I find a lot of times with many people, we feel something, and then we tell ourselves, oh, we can't feel this way, and so we get in a hurry to get out of how we feel instead of going through that process. And again, this is something that goes for men and women. But I speak to the women again. I speak to the women directly on this particular topic, because I see so many hard women. But ladies, we don't have to be like that. It's okay to feel what you feel. Um, I see a lot of women who say, "Oh, well, uh, they try to be like men. Oh, I don't, F a dude. Um, I can do what dudes do as it relates to in the bedroom. I can F whoever I want to F. I can sleep with whoever I want to sleep. Let me tell you something. If you are a woman and you have trained yourself to be numb, and you getting in and out of bed with people and you ain't catching feelings, that's not something to be proud of. That is very that there is nothing that is natural about that. You are so When you intertwine yourself with someone, when someone enter you, they are entering your vagina. You are allowing this person into you. And if you are spiritual, that they're entering your soul. I mean, you are giving them a window. You're opening up basically heaven into your soul, and you're allowing this person in. And then in many cases, if you're not wearing a rubber, or even if you are, they're dropping off stuff in there. They're leaving their DNA behind. And then you get up out of the bed, and you mean to tell me you don't feel nothing after that? That you are just numb to that? And you can just go from dude to dude that's something wrong. Something is wrong, and society got some of these women out here thinking that they can do that, or that that's honor in that, or that's normal. That's not normal. What's normal is, yes, it's normal for you to get in the bed with a man if that's something you decide to do. Y'all have sex, and then you catch feelings after. That is normal. I really wish people stop trying to shame people into thinking that something wrong with you if you do. No, that ain't nothing wrong with you. You get in the bed with a man and open your soul and your heart and your body up and your DNA up to a man, and then you catch feelings. I believe it was meant for that to happen. It was meant for that. There's a reason why that happens like that. You are supposed to feel feelings like that. You open yourself up to somebody like that. It is very, very dangerous and unnatural for any woman, and I tell guys this all the time. Any woman who tells you that she can sleep with you and then not feel nothing, let me tell you something. You better get rid of her. She's very dangerous. That is a dangerous woman. She's probably mentally unstable. She's probably been hurt. There's a lot of pain. Okay? I mean, come on here. Now, I can understand, okay, people say, oh, well, you have one night stands and there's no feeling, you didn't really know the person. Okay, I may give you a pass on that. But if there's a woman and y'all are messing around, time and time and time and time again, she opening up her soul like that, time and time again, and she don't feel nothing. That ain't nothing natural about that. Ain't nothing normal about that. Nothing. Nothing. And those women who embrace that, I'm telling you that you and see you a lot of you already know what I'm talking about because you didn't been there. You didn't try to do that. You didn't try to get down like that and you caught feelings and you thought you wouldn't. And that's that goes along the lines of soul ties, and that's a whole nother broadcast. Soul ties is a whole, and there's a whole bunch of different YouTube videos about soul ties, but I have my own thoughts and experiences with soul ties, so I know how soul ties work. But that's a whole nother thing. But not only is the soul tie created, but all types of other different things. Like I said, you're interchanging your DNA, all kinds of things. It's meant for you to catch feelings. Now, am I telling you that's something you should do? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But if that's something you choose to do, and then you do catch feelings, and then you're trying to hide that, or somebody's trying to shame you into you catching feelings, that's nothing to shame somebody in. That's not nothing to be shameful of. And any dude who does that is horrible. He's horrible. He's absolutely horrible. Because if he don't understand that, if he don't understand that, then something wrong with him. Something is wrong with him. If a dude can't, and most dudes understand this, they know this. This is why they know that women, the majority of women can't play the game. A majority of women can't lay down time and time again and not catch feelings. And there's a reason why dudes are better at it than women are. Women, I don't care what nobody says, the Amber Roses of the world and whoever else is, they can play like they are not harmed by it. But I'm gonna tell you something: if they wasn't harmed by it, they wouldn't always have a new man in their bed. They wouldn't always have one. See, because always having to have somebody laying up with you tells me, just from the outside looking in, I could possibly be wrong. I don't know none of these people that I just called out, but I could possibly be wrong. But that tells me you always got somebody in your bed. That means you are afraid to be alone. You can't be alone. You are afraid to be alone. And you got some people that may say, oh, well, no, I just like sex. I just like, the company of a man or a woman or the company of whoever. Look, let me tell you something. You can like it all day long. But if you can't go without, if that is like I said, doing more harm than it is good, that lets you know something is not right there. Okay, so let's talk about how emotionless people, a lot of times these people have guarded their hearts, they've guarded their emotions, they've guarded a bunch of things. And again, this could be out of fear, out of pain, out of hurt, out of past trauma, whatever the case may be. But there's a lot of things that factor into why they're so guarded. And a lot of times people who are emotionless, they are socially awkward. These people are very socially awkward. They are socially awkward. They're overly protective, but in an unhealthy way a lot of times. And a lot of what they are going through or have been through is based in fear. We really need to understand that. And this is why when I see people, whether it be social media or in real life, and they are unable to um they're unable to be out among people and be, I don't want to use the word normal, but be out among people and just be social. And that tells me some not right. Because even when we think of it as when we think of children go through stages. And this is why we call in the mental health field, we call it developmental counseling, which means that children who develop from one stage to the next, and you develop into an adult. And there are stages that you go to. There are different things that you go through in life to help you develop into a mentally healthy, stable adult. And um, when certain stages are missed or when certain stages are bypassed, that can create a problem. And when you are someone who has been emotionless, and again, I've said from the very beginning, there's so many different reasons. You got rape victims out here that have been through that particular type of trauma, and it affects their emotions in a major way, and they cut themselves off. They don't bond with people. They I mean, and it's a very tragic thing, and it's a very horrific thing that victims of rape that have been through. And I'm just using this particular situation as an example. But again, there's so many different reasons why somebody may be emotionless. And I'm not necessarily talking about people who have been raped, but I'm just talking about people who have been through whatever it is that they've been through, and they just they have no emotions. That's not healthy. That is not healthy. Um, so we talked about society and what the agenda that society, I believe society is pushing on women, but more so black women. This whole thing that we got to be tough, we got to be hard, we got to watch our own back. Nobody, I mean, they're pushing that narrative on us, and then you have people who help the narrative by trying to shame women into being able to connect with their emotions. Um, and in a healthy way. I'm not talking about an unhealthy way. I'm not talking about somebody out here that is unstable. I'm talking about in a healthy way. I when and I'll use myself as an example. When I am speaking to somebody and I get emotional and they check me and say, "Oh, you allowing your emotions to run you," or whatever like that. I instantly catch that because they could be possibly right. And I ask myself questions. Okay, and sometimes it can be, you get heated, you get hot. But again, check yourself and then move on. Don't go into this whole, you trying to prove how hard you are. No, nobody, I mean, women, you know, and I get, some of us have certain jobs that require of us to be um some type of in an authoritative position, and we have to kind of be a certain kind of way on our jobs. I get that, right? And I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about though when we are interacting with each other and the opposite sex men, and we think that we got to be so hard, so aggressive, so protect. I mean, it, it's it's not. It's really, 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 really dangerous. Um, what else did I want to say? Also, when there is an issue with an emotionless person, a lot of times, particularly with women, a lot of times, you're blocked. There's some blockage there. You're unable to really tap into your femininity. And when you're unable to do that, again, that creates a problem because who wants to walk around day in and day out always, feeling tough and hard and having to watch your back, and I mean, who wants to walk around like that? It also affects your personality. When you always got these blockage, and this go for men and women, you always blocked and guarded like that, and it's just it's an unhealthy blocking. It affects your personality. You can't even make the right decisions or think logically in certain aspects because it has affected your personality. Um, and ladies, this it affects nature. Again, I've said time and time again, it's natural for us to feel. We need to feel. Go through those emotions. And sometimes in where there are times where we need to heal, that is going to help us heal as well, feeling what we feel. And so the very last thing that I want to say is, again, I kind of want to stress the issue about, how if you are a woman or a man, but more so a woman, if you're a woman and you are emotionless, that is unnatural. And I would encourage speaking to a mental health professional because we got to get you back in balance. If you are a man, same thing for you. Again, we all go through hurt, we all go through pain. And if that hurt and pain was 30 or 40 or 20 or 15 or 10 or even 2 years ago, and you still tripping, you need help. Okay? You need help. That's just what it is. You need help. You need help. You need help. We all go through death. We all go through, and I'm not being insensitive to these things, but I have to be honest, you need help. Okay? If you are not balanced in that area, if you are socially awkward. Now see, this is another thing too. You got some people that just don't like crowds. That's totally different. But if you are emotionless and one of the reasons why, and this is one of the reasons why is you have a hard time connecting to people, you have a hard time creating bonds and relationships, you have a hard time getting along with the opposite sex. Some Yeah, something's missing. Something is missing. Okay. So just let me do a recap. So again, emotionless women or men, again, more I'm talking more so to the ladies because this tends to kind of be our lane, more so than it is the guys. But if you are guarded, and you just walking around with a guarded heart, you afraid to let your guards down. This has made you emotionally unstable. You're socially awkward. You're overly protective. Again, all this is based in fear. Society is pushing the notion that women should be hard and like somewhat like men. And I speak against that. I totally disagree. I believe that there's a reason why we're different. There's a reason why, you know, you have men have what is it, testosterone, and women have hormones. There's a reason why those things are like they are. Okay, when you are emotionless, a lot of times, you're not feeling for whatever reason. You have a hard time feeling things. You have a hard time for whatever reason. You're numb to different things. Um, a lot of those things, you know, it blocks you tapping into your femininity, and so or it blocks your personality. Different aspects of your personality. And then it blocks nature. It blocks nature. Um, And so again, it's unnatural. I speak against it. I really want us to really look at this and look at what's going on. Ladies, any women that are listening to this broadcast, I really, really hope these things that you think about, because again, don't let nobody try to shame you into being a hard chick. If you need to, shed a tear because of whatever, shed a tear. If your emotions may have gotten the best of you in a situation, and when I say emotions has nothing to do with physically harming somebody, putting your hands on somebody, acting irrational. I mean, those all are based in emotions, but again, that's unbalanced, because you have to be able to control yourself as well, especially as an adult. And the older that you are, yeah, you've been on this earth longer than, if you've been on this earth for quite some time, 30, 40, 50 years, you've had some time to learn how to control your emotions. You've been through enough experiences. So we're going to cut the crap on some things. Yeah, I understand somebody died and we get emotional. We get emotional. I understand, weddings make people emotional. I understand you get in a heated argument or a fight, those things like that. But when somebody check you about that and tell you, hey, wait a minute, you in your emotions, whatever. Number one, if you are, then okay, you are. Don't deny it. Don't try to prove that you hard and you hardcore. This goes back to the whole sex thing, where you see a lot of females out here talking about, they just like dudes and that they don't feel and they can, jump from one ding dong to the next. And that's no. What that doesn't prove anything that other than you could possibly be a whore. And now if you that's what you want to be, then okay, be that. But then don't get mad when somebody calls you that. I mean, for real, for real. And that go for men or women. If you a man and you out here and you know you're this woman and the next woman and there's no emotions and stuff like that, and you're just able to just do that like that. Look, I understand, guys have their fun. I understand this, that, and the third, but in this day and time, in the environment that we are right now, first of all, it's too much going on out there. This is not 1918 where you can do certain things. I mean, you got chicks out here doing all kind of crazy stuff. Y'all just heard with the whole Cardi B thing. These chicks are not like they used to be, and that goes for all races of people. Chicks is killing men just like the other way around. So I do not promote any of that craziness. I don't, because the climate that we're in right now, no, there's too many different diseases out here. There are crazy folks out here, men and women and kids. No, no, no. Get somewhere and sit like in the old days. Get somewhere and sit down. Sit down somewhere and be humble. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to rain on nobody's party, but this is not the best of time to be doing certain things. It's really not. And especially if you're a woman. This is just not the time. It's really not. People are emotionally unstable and they will harm you. And you can think you out here having fun. You can think you out here just doing your thing, whether you're a man or a woman. But I'm telling you right now, we see it on TV all the time. We see it in the news all the time. People doing all kind of crazy stuff, taking people's lives for nothing. You see mothers taking their own kids' life for nothing. It's dangerous. And so I don't promote none of it. Now, if somebody say they want to do that and that's how they gonna do things, and by all means go right on ahead. But when you catch something, or when a chick hem you up, or run you over, or vice versa, a dude do whatever, don't come running talking about man, people crazy. I done told this is not the environment. We got to get somewhere and sit down. You got to find you somebody, and that's what it's got to be. I know we don't like to hear that, but that's just what it is. This is not the climate to be playing around with your health or other people's mental health. We can't think that everybody is mentally stable out here. And we can't think that everybody lives by a certain code of conduct either. So we can keep thinking it's a game, and we can keep thinking we're gonna play around or whatever. And I know I'm kind of getting off on a different, but I mean this is near and dear because again, like I said earlier, we just had, a king taken away from us. And people, you got all kind of people saying all kind of crazy stuff, but at the end of the day, it was definitely something personal and emotional behind that as well. Because you don't shoot nobody that many times and then go kick the person in the head after you just, I mean, come on now. This is just not the climate for it. And this ain't got nothing to do with no, we need to do this and do that. I'm just speaking in terms of, you know, being humble and living our lives a certain type of way and living by a certain code of conduct and not expecting that everybody lives by that same certain code of conduct either. So I hope you guys enjoyed this broadcast. I love you guys. I would like to extend the invitation for you guys to like, share, and or subscribe. And I hope you guys found this video to be helpful. And I love you guys. So I hope you guys have a wonderful night or day, depending on what time or where you are in the world when you listen to this video. But you guys have a wonderful night or day. And I talk to you soon. Bye.